So there's a few things on my mind, and I thought I'd share with the world, and I might explore some of these in more depth in time. But for now, I just want to share some of the ideas. So one of the things is difficult to comprehend how the sun keeps on burning. Burning its fuel, it appears to be indefinite. It's very difficult to understand why it doesn't run out of fuel. Because if you set fire to something on Earth or whatever, it soon runs out of whatever you're burning. You burn a box or whatever. So it's so hard to comprehend the idea that the sun, I think, is probably billions of years old. How can hydrogen or whatever just keep burning forever? Just burning and burning and burning and burning in a ball of gas, and it just keeps on going. Why doesn't it just burn out quickly? Why does it keep on burning for so long? I mean, I would think that if you set fire to a ball of hydrogen, it would go boom and it'd be finished. But the sun just keeps on burning and burning and burning forever, it seems. I think that's kind of strange. What else is on my mind? Um, I'm thinking humanity must have arisen elsewhere in the universe because the universe is apparently infinite, and so it seems fairly obvious that there must be other humanities around us out there somewhere. But in an infinite universe, they could be a little bit far away. But the point is, they must be there, and that means there must be some very old humanities and very young ones as well, but very old humanities. And it's just stunning to try and comprehend just how wise these humanities might be and the kind of things they would know and have discovered. It's just stupendous. And I'm wondering if we'll ever encounter these other humanities that are definitely out there. So it's strange to wonder that. And another thing that's on my mind is how everything will be gone one day, and there's nothing we can do about it. Everything will expire. The sun will expire. The earth will, I don't know, overpopulate and greenhouse gases and all that business. Um, it's amazing to know for certain that we will expire and we can't keep on going. It's strange to know that death will come to everything one day. Other stuff on my mind. Yeah, I'm wondering how much we know about the universe. Because I'm thinking we could be very ignorant in terms of what there is to know. We think that we know a lot, but the amount there is to know is, I suppose, infinite in a sense. So, how much do we actually know of what there is to know? So, we could be really ignorant and we're going to discover some amazing things shortly, for all we know. So, it is amazing to know that we don't know everything and that there's more to learn that we maybe have no idea is there to be learned. So I suppose we have to accept the fact that we are ignorant of so much around us. And it's true, I suppose, that hundreds of years ago we would have thought we were quite knowledgeable and we knew a lot. And then obviously you learned a lot more in the last 100 years. And so the same principle applies in future. We will know so much more in 100 years, and we will think then that as we are now is fairly ignorant. And that's kind of amazing. I'm thinking about climate hysteria as well, where everyone's worried about global warming. And I've looked into it a little bit, and apparently is very minor fluctuations in the Earth's temperature, and we're talking about 0.1 of a degree, whatever changes over a massive period of time. That's 1% of 3% of 2% kind of figures. So we're making much ado about nothing, it seems, when we're talking about the climate. And it's very strange and very cynical to think why there's so much hysteria. And I'm also thinking that maybe there are whole new fields of science to be discovered. Because after all, we don't know what we don't know. So there could be entire fields of science yet to be discovered that we're not even aware of yet. So we have astronomy, we have physics, we have chemistry, we have biology, and we think we've covered all the bases in terms of what there is to know. But I think we don't know what there is to know. We haven't discovered all there is to know. So we might find and uncover a whole new field of science to go along with physics and chemistry and biology and whatever. And that is amazing to think that there could be entire fields that are yet to be discovered. And I can't imagine what kind of things there might be. Very strange. So I'm wondering, I suppose, how is it possible to know everything, or would there always be things that we just don't know about? Another thing on my mind is I'm thinking rather about death, and I'm wondering why we worry so much about death and so concerned about death when it's inevitable. Um, I'm thinking that maybe it's only the pain we're concerned about, possible pain on the way to death that we're worried about. And we're also worried about not knowing the precise time we will die or the manner in which we will die. Maybe that's the biggest concern. So I am wondering what I'm most concerned about death. And initially I'm thinking it's the pain and the manner of death which is most concerning to me. Because death is inevitable, maybe I'm not so worried about the fact of being dead. I'm more concerned about the manner of the death. So I'll think some more about how I think about death. I'm also wondering how much is possible to know. We know a lot and a great deal now, but we thought we knew a lot and a great deal 100 years ago. So obviously we learned a lot in the last 100 years. So in the next 100 years, we're going to learn a lot as well. And we're going to know a lot more then than we do now. So I'm wondering if there's ever an end to this increase in our knowledge, or is there always something new to learn? I don't know if there's any limit to how much there is to be learned. It's interesting to wonder that. And what else is on my mind? I'm thinking about money, and how do we know that the money we have in the bank will still be there when we go to get it out? If I go to the bank now and put my card in the machine and the bank tells me there's no money, what will I do, or what could I do? I'm just wondering how and why the money is always there when we get to find it. We think we're in control, but really the hole in the wall is in control. I'm surprised it works so well. And I'm thinking how I'm glad to not live in Botswana or Iraq or Cambodia. There are so many places around the world that I definitely would not want to be living in. And there's so many hundreds of thousands, even millions of people living in places which are very difficult places in which to live. And these people are having absolutely awful lives. And the hundreds of millions of people are having terrible lives. And I moan and complain about things that are going wrong in England, but I know that my experience doesn't compare to how life can really be. It is just amazing how awful life can be. And I'm wondering about life and if life is just a phase of existence. Um, like, is there a life before life and a life after life? Is life just a period of time when things are going on, and then something else will come next, and something else came before? And another thing I'm thinking about, and the last thing I'll say now, is about the earth and the internet. I'm seeing the internet as being the same as a brain for the entire earth. So you have the earth, and then you have the internet on the earth. And the internet is operating like a brain for the earth in the same way as we have a brain in our heads operating on our body. So maybe the internet is like a brain for the earth. And that raises some possibilities. Now, in an infinite universe, there are obviously other intelligences out there in the universe, other humanities around the world, around the universe. And they would also have internets. And so their planets would also be operating like a being, if you like. So the planet would have its own brain in the shape of the internet. So dotted around the universe, we have lots of planets with its own brain in the shape of the internet. And it is just amazing what we have created. And so it is like the universe just has a population of planets which are basically sentient beings, planets with their own brains. And maybe they'll become interconnected and then into a giant super brain. And so the universe will have a brain in the shape of all of these planets, which are themselves brains. So it's kind of weird and strange to be thinking on this stuff.